This is tutorial 3-1 on page 96. I've already opened the map that it asks you to open at the bottom of page 96. And now we are on the top of page 97, and we're going to save it to my exercises, chapter 3. And I've already done this before, so I'm replacing it. You won't see that on yours unless you're going through it for the second time. Okay. And what I want to do on the top left is I want to click on the list by drawing order button over here. So this will be on the top, this will be below that, this will be below that, and this will be on the bottom. So that's the drawing order. Then I want to go to bookmarks, and I want to go to the Manhattan borough, and it zooms in on the island of Manhattan, which ends up here and down here. And we're just waiting for it to redraw now. Okay, now we've got it. And there's some problems here with the way the map looks. It's awfully cluttered, especially if you look at the streets here. The streets are so close together that at this, when we're zoomed into this distance anyway, that basically everything it almost looks like it's a solid. And the scale we're on right now, and this number will vary depending on the resolution of your monitor, is 1 to 112,302. And if I want to make the scale smaller, a small scale map has is one that's seen from a farther distance. So if I increase this number here, this number is basically the denominator, and if I increase the number, then that means I am zooming out just a small amount, and it's such a small amount that we probably won't see any difference here, but it's still going to redraw the map for us. You know, the difference between 112,302 and 112,303 is basically 0 as far as we're concerned. However, it has just zoomed us out a little bit, you know, beyond the bookmark. Okay, so we're just a little bit further out beyond the bookmark, and now what we want to do is we want to right click on the base map over here, and we want to set its visible scale range, and we want to set the minimum scale. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing for food facilities. We want to set its minimum set the minimum scale range. So the layer will not be drawn if we zoom out any further. Okay. And so now we're going to zoom out to, we've got a bookmark here that was created for us, New York City, which is a bigger area than just Manhattan. And when we zoom out, the base map is no longer visible. That was the satellite view. And the food facilities, which are all of those colored squares and plus signs and circles, are also not visible. You notice a little gray mark here, though. It indicates that they are there, but it's just at this particular level that they're not going to be drawn. Okay, now I want to go back to the I'm on number 5 on page 98 now, and I want to go back to the Manhattan borough. And I want to go to bookmarks again, and see all the layers are back on now because I'm just inside 112,303. I'm at 112,302. So they appear, this is the exact point where those other features appear. And now I want to do another bookmark, and I want to go to Central Park, which is this area of Manhattan. And we're going to have to wait here again for it to redraw. Okay, it finally redrew for us. And now we're zoomed into where we can see all the streets here. And what I want to do is I want to add one onto this again. So now we're at 15,576 plus 1 is 77. And hit enter, and it's going to redraw for us again, which will probably take a little bit of time. Okay, that was actually pretty fast. And now we want to take our streets and we want to set the minimum scale for this. Okay, and now if I zoom out a little bit here, let me click on this, and okay, now I'm zooming in. The streets should stay visible, but I gotta wait for them to redraw. And now I'm going to try to back out a little bit, and I've gone beyond that 15,000 and something. I'm just using the mouse wheel here, and I'm out to 1 to 20,000 now, and 1 to 15,000 was the smallest value at which the streets would appear. Okay, so the streets will not appear here until I start zooming in, and I just zoomed the wrong way. Let's turn the mouse the other way. Pull the mouse towards you to zoom in, push it away from you to zoom out. So I am now zooming in, and this scale up here hopefully will change. I zoomed in 2 clicks of the mouse. And I'm at 15,000 now, and I think the streets should appear here. I think it was 15,000 something before. Yeah, so now the streets are appearing. So you can make it so that things disappear when you get out too far for them to be meaningful, but as you zoom in, you can pick a point at which those features of the map appear. Okay, now we are on the bottom of page 98, and I want to go to bookmarks again, and I want to go to Central Park West Side, and I want to add 1 to the denominator here, make that a 7, and hit enter. And now I want to right click the food facilities, and I want to have this be where the labels turn on. So I want to go to properties, and I want to go to labels, and I want to select the label features in this layer, turn that on, and verify that facility N is in the label field, which it is. So that's the name of the facility. N probably stands for name. And click the symbol button and edit the symbol, and click on mask. This is something I'm going to have you do a lot, and they probably do in the textbook too. Click on halo, and we want 1.5 for the size, and click on the symbol button and select a pale green color. Well, there's a pale green color right there for the fill color, and no color for the outline color. So let's go here and choose no color, and click on OK, and click on OK. And in the symbol selector window, which is where we are now, set the size to 6, which is pretty small, and click on OK. And in the layer properties window, which is where I am now, click on the scale range button, which is right here, and don't show labels when zoomed out. Okay, when zoomed out beyond, and I want current scale, and click on OK. So I will not show the labels when I'm zoomed out further than this, and click on OK. And now the labels do show up, but if I just go out 1 unit further here, make that a 78. That's zooming further out. And I'll get the symbols, but I should not get the labels to appear again. And there the symbols are, but the labels have disappeared. Okay. Now it says label streets. I'm in the U-turn part on, or your turn rather, part on page 99, and it says label the streets using street as the label field. So let's go to streets over here and go to properties and go to the labels up here, and obviously I got to turn this on if I want to see labels, and I want a font size of 6, and I want a 1.25 halo that's light tan and no outline. So let's go in here, click on edit symbol, and for our mask we want a halo that is 1.25, and we want a light tan fill color. Well, there's a tan, looks pretty light to me even though it's not called light tan. And so I want that, and for the outline I want no color. And for the scale range, use the current scale. So click on OK, click on OK, click on OK. And for the scale range, don't show labels when zoomed out beyond the current scale. And in the labels tab of, click on OK, on the labels tab of the properties, click placement properties, and then click on placement tab, and then choose parallel, and that will orient the labels parallel to the street name. And on the line for position, so where is position? Okay, over here, pick on the line, and turn that off. And okay, use borough name as the field for boroughs. Let me see, as the label field for boroughs. Okay, I guess we're done with this. We're switching gears now, and we're going to boroughs and properties, and I want the label. I'm going to label those, and I want borough name, not borough code, and I want 8-point font, halo of 1.5 with a light blue fill and no outline. So I'll go to mask, and halo is 1.5, and the color for it would be a light blue with no outline. Click on OK, and finally, and click on OK, and click on OK, and click on OK. And now finally, for the Central Park West Side bookmark, so let's go here to the Central Park West Side bookmark, and it's going to redraw even though there's almost no difference. Set a maximum scale for the borough labels. Okay, so let's go back here, and let me see, maximum scale for the borough labels, and don't show the labels. Setting a maximum here, so when zoomed in beyond the current scale, don't show those. And click on OK, and then add 1 to the scale denominator. Yeah, well, I just already did that, so they should have said that first. So click on OK here. And the Manhattan label should not display when we're at this level. And if I back out a little bit, let's click over here and back out. Wrong way again. Now somewhere out here we're going to see the label for Manhattan. And I think I need to zoom out a little further maybe, or is it, yeah, it's still hung up. It's still computing. I'm going to pause it here and wait for it to. Okay, well that actually took quite a bit longer than what you actually saw here on the video. Here's Manhattan showing up, and if I go, now I don't know if that'll still be visible or not when we zoom in, because the Central Park West, I think, I don't know if it shows all of that or not. Let's go try it and find out. And Central Park West Side, and okay, now we're in at this level, and I think it's still going to show because I didn't add one onto it here. So if we go down a little bit here and let it redraw, Manhattan was up here somewhere, and let's see if it shows up again. And it does not appear to be showing up. And no, I'm not seeing it. But if I zoom out just a little bit here, let's change that to a 7. Whoops. Let's make it an 8. And zoom out a little bit further, and now that we're zoomed out a little further, theoretically we should see the Manhattan label show up there, and there it is. And the other stuff will come up here in a second too, but I'm going to pause the video and let it catch up with me. Okay, everything's finally back, and that is the end of your turn on the bottom page 99, and that's a good place to stop this video. We're not done with 3.1 or 3-1, but we'll pick up with that in the next video.